So this is part 6, ghosts I've seen in other churches. So you're probably thinking, Steve, is the only place you see ghosts in churches, and when you spend a lot of time at churches, I guess the odds are just in your favor. But yes, a lot of my encounters have been in churches. So I moved back to Connecticut from Iowa in 2004, moved to central Connecticut, and pretty quickly found the church in the downtown that I wanted to attend. So started attending, found out they had a handbell choir, and I've been indoctrinated into handbells since 7th grade, 8th grade. So one of those parents force you into the choir, parents force you into a play. It was, okay. It was suggested I join the bell choir and take piano lessons. So I'm thankful for that now because I know how to read music and play music. But anyway, so I joined the bell choir, and first rehearsal, the church floor space in front of the pulpit was kind of tight, so we rehearsed up in the balcony. Second floor, about 15 feet up. The tops of the stained glass windows were behind us, tables lined up along the front edge of the balcony, and we're laid out to start ringing. So there's one person, I'm in the bass clef, one person to my left, and the rest of the choir is to my right. So there's about 2.5 feet behind me to the windows, to the railing. So we're ringing, and in between pieces, sometimes you have to change bells. And so we get to that point, and I'm reaching for different bells, and I see a woman peripherally walk behind me from my right to my left. So I turn around to my left. Oh, did you need a bell? Thinking it was one of the ladies to my right. And I turn around, there's no one there. And so I look back, I said, oh, I thought you just walked behind me, to the woman I thought it was. And she says, no, I've been here the whole time. Why? And I said, well, I just saw a woman walk behind me. And everyone chuckled. Probably didn't believe me at the time, but I said, well, I swear I just saw a woman walk behind me. So that was the first time. Second time, probably a couple years later, after we would ring in the balcony, we would sit in the balcony, or some people would go back down to the main floor. So I'm sitting in the balcony in the very back by myself, and it comes time to pass the peace during the service. So it's like, may the peace of God be with you, on and on. And then, please share the peace with your neighbor. So I stand up. There's only a couple other people, and they start walking towards me. And then I see another lady walk around to my right, peripherally, in my eyes. I see a woman walk around. I go, oh, pee. And of course, there's no one there. So, second encounter. I should add that the balcony is wood, and to walk across the balcony, you will be heard from Hartford. It's like very squeaky wood floors. So fast forward, I started helping with the youth group, the high school kids, in the evenings on, I think it was Sundays, and we have a meeting at our church. We shared the program with the sister church down the street. Meeting was in our church in the basement, which was finished. We only had one room downstairs that was finished. The rest was dirt, cellar. So we're having a meeting, and the topic comes up, okay, what's your special skill? What can you do that no one else can do? So of course I mentioned that I've seen some ghosts, and of course the kids all laugh, being kids, and they write on the whiteboard, Steve sees ghosts, ha 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 ha. They have a good laugh. And then the program leader, our assistant pastor, associate pastor at the time, she says, well, kids, I can actually back him up on this. Several weeks earlier, I was doing the sermon at the pulpit, and I look up from my notes, and there's a woman sitting smack dab in the middle of the balcony, front row. She goes, oh, wonder where she came from. Goes back to her notes, looks up only a couple minutes later, and the woman is gone. So again, you can tell and you can hear very clearly when someone's walking around the balcony. So the kids kind of get shocked and drop-jawed, and I think they believed me after that. So that was that church. Never found out who that was. However, later on, we had a lock-in at the sister church down the street, and their basement is all finished off with rooms, except for 2 small rooms by the staircase, either side of the staircase. One is a kitchenette, the other is the boiler room. So the kitchenette has a couple steps as a door, a couple steps up to concrete, still has the unfinished walls, brownstone walls for the cellar foundation. So I go in there, brushing my teeth, put on my pajamas, and all ready to start walking back out, walk about 10 feet towards the door. As I start walking from the sink to the door, very clearly and loudly in my ear, I hear a loud whisper, "Please help get me out of here." So what does Steve do? He pees his pants and runs out of the room. So needless to say, I did not help that spirit cross over. Of course, this is 2007, 2008, before I really knew what I was doing and what abilities I had and why these spirits were coming to me. So fast forward here to Illinois, one of the mediums I visited here actually told me, said, "What? There's a ghost in a church somewhere. You need to help them cross over." Almost unprompted. And I'm like, great, no pressure. So one of these days, I need to get back to that church in Connecticut and cross that spirit over as well. So it happens everywhere.